Yes, excellent. Graduates of the class of 2014. Mothers, fathers, spouses, partners, grandmothers, grandfathers, sisters, brothers, aunts, uncles, sons and daughters, and all other family and friends, welcome to our graduation ceremony. This is a weekend of great joy and celebration for you and for us. We were so delighted when you came here some years ago. You're distinguished today by what distinguished you then, a remarkable combination of intellectual curiosity and passion and spirit that's led you to shape this place in ways that will remain true for years to come. Today is also a day of great accomplishment and pride. But as I know you know, 2014 graduates, you didn't get here by yourself. So please turn around and join me in thanking the people who have supported you and borne with you through your time at Stanford, your parents, your families, your partners, your friends, your children. It's now my pleasure to introduce today's student speakers who have been elected by their peers to represent their class at today's ceremony. They are Nicholas Guggenberger, an LLM in the Law, Science, and Technology program, and Mark Feldman from the JD program.
Dear guests and parents, dear family members and friends, welcome to Stanford. Dear faculty and Stanford Law School staff, good to see you, and more importantly, thank you. Distinguished NSA officials, the slight hissing sound from the microphone, tells me that you're here. I'm glad that you could make it. Please, the NSA assured me that they only tap this microphone, that they only observe guests that eat foreign food, wear foreign clothes, speak foreign languages, or ever travel to a foreign country. To all Americans, you're not affected, the officials said. To all the foreigners, feel special, someone is listening to you. Class of 2014, congratulations. You have accomplished great things and you deserve appreciation. But first, let me take a selfie. Please, this is business. This is for my new startup, Spelfie, featuring speech selfies. I am confident of attracting 2 billion users by December and creating profits by 2040. My fellow classmates, you have mastered exams, written countless papers, and deserve appreciation. LLMs, you even did that in a foreign language, especially harsh for our classmates from New Zealand and Ireland. You have volunteered in community projects, worked in student associations, contributed to law journals, participated in a talent show and a musical. All this besides your demanding legal studies. You have picked up new sports, continued your lifetime passions, and explored the beautiful state of California. To all the internationals, you have had countless first times, visiting football games, seeing snow in the mountains, drinking root beer, playing golf, capsizing sailboats, attending a rodeo, experiencing a government shutdown, paying tuition fees, and having teachers that actually know your names, a fact that in other countries would tell you that you had done something wrong. All this in 1 year, be proud of your accomplishments. Adapting to a new culture is challenging. It is hard to transfer from a legal system in which doctrine is everything and reality nothing, to one in which an empirical study may be the holy grail and doctrine seems to be the 17-ounce soda to Michael Bloomberg. And other things are different here too. I grew up in a country where trend is a word in fashion, standing for tailored shirts and slim-fit pants. And then moved to an area in which trend means innovation, created in tank tops and jogging pants. We came from regions where Facebook was cool to a place where it was popular in nursing homes. Yet, in the end, all of this did not matter because Stanford is not about where you came from, but where you want to be. Stanford is a mindset and a feeling and a statement that is global. Sometime into the program, many of us LLMs decided to stay longer than originally intended. Even though I didn't do well in evidence, I am sure this is non-assertive conduct, which does not constitute hearsay and is admissible to prove how amazing this place is. Many of you found great career opportunities and realized your personal American dream. By the way, if anyone is interested, my startup, Spelfie, still needs funding. $2 million should be enough to cover office space in the city and cocktail parties for 2 years. But returning to more serious topics, Stanford has been outstanding. For one of my classes, we received an email announcing that there would be, and I quote, a Q&A session with a senior US executive branch policymaker. So what would you expect? A general counsel from a government agency? Maybe a deputy secretary, since there were security measures mentioned in the email? Well, this is Stanford Law School. It turned out that our guest was former President George W. Bush, accompanied by Professor Condoleezza Rice, both down for an informal chat on foreign policy. Looking back, I should have gotten suspicious when they checked me for dangerous shoes and searched me for weapons of mass destruction at the entrance. It is classes like this, and there were many, that we will never forget. Thank you for this incredible experience at the world's best law school. Dear class of 2014, it is now time to say goodbye. Friends, I will miss the road trips, the chicken nuggets, the themed parties, the Russo burgers, the discussions in class, the friendly smiles that lit up my time here, and yes, even the late-night library sessions you shared with me. To all those who are going abroad, bad news, you might have to pay for overweight baggage. For all the friends that travel along in your hearts. To all those who stay. To all those who stay, watch out, domestic flights have even stricter luggage limitations. And to everyone, die Luft der Freiheit weht. Let the wind of freedom blow. Lead, inspire, innovate, and always remember your friends. Thank you.
Good morning, class of 2014. I would like to especially welcome our professors, staff, family, friends, and that one guy who attends every lunch talk. I'm sure he's here somewhere. It is a great honor to speak before you today. Final law school reflection paper number 97. Learning to give a damn. Part 1 of 3. What is happening to me and where are my goats? We all arrived here strangers in a strange land. New to legal analysis, new to the courtroom, new to the soulless outdoor mall that is Silicon Valley. I was perhaps stranger than most. Just 3 months before coming to law school, I was living in a mud house in rural Morocco. 3 months before civil procedure, my name was Mbark. I spoke a language called Tamazight, and every morning outside my kitchen window, I could see 2 mountain ranges, a herd of goats, and a shepherd who called me Aromi, which means foreigner, but really it means Roman, which means foreigner, because that's just how old and isolated that place is. It was there that I first decided to go to law school. Morocco was a rich cultural experience, but throughout my time there, I encountered people in dire straits that I had no idea how to help. I heard about villages chaining the mentally ill in their houses because they lacked services to treat them. I saw doctors soliciting bribes from the poor for vaccinations that were supposed to be free. I came to law school because I wanted to sharpen a tool I could use to help people at the margins. When I received that email from Dean Deal at a cyber cafe 25 kilometers from my village, I felt like Stanford was saying, "Yes, Mbark, we believe in you and what you want to achieve." 3 months later, people around me were engaging in vigorous debate about joinder rules and the rule against perpetuity, and I had no idea why I was there. It felt like someone had handed me the federal rules of civil procedure and said, "This is your life now." And by the way, here is a leaflet with the 3 jobs you can do with a JD. It didn't help that law school was difficult, and I felt terrible at it. Rule 12 seemed like the sort of thing that lawyers cared about, and I did not care at all. I couldn't see the connection between the rules and the people I wanted to help. I couldn't bring myself to give a damn. Enrolling in law school felt like the most uninformed decision I had ever made, and I questioned whether law school would ever be what I wanted it to be. By the end of first quarter, I wanted to leave and get my life and my career possibilities and my goats back. Thank God I didn't. Actually, thank you. Thank you to all the professors, students, and especially my family, who told me to see what the law looks like in the real world before giving up, who told me to seek out those I came here to help before deciding that this wasn't the way to help them, Maybe I didn't want to be a law student, but that didn't mean I didn't want to be a lawyer. Not sure of what I would find or whether I would return, I took a deep breath and stepped out into the world. Part 2, how I learned to give a damn. My 1L summer, I accompanied an attorney on a visit to 3 men in death row in Livingston, Texas. The men were brought in, handcuffed, and placed in steel cages, just big enough for one person, about 4 feet across and 8 feet high, on the other side of a plexiglass barrier. We said hello by placing our palms up to the glass and then grabbed the black plastic phones. All 3 men were Mexican nationals convicted of murder in Texas. All 3 men were victims of severe child abuse as a child, and all 3 men had histories of mental illness and substance abuse. At trial, they did not receive zealous representation. It is offensive to say they received representation at all. During closing argument, his final chance to tell his client's story, one defense attorney had told the jury, "I have done everything I can for this man. I hope I haven't offended you. I tried hard with what I had to work with, and it wasn't much." One of the men had been on death row for over 20 years. Given that he had 20 years of legal representation, I figured he might have some insights into the profession. So I asked him, what makes a good attorney? He didn't have to think about it. A good attorney is someone who cares. That's it. A good attorney is someone who cares. That made me think about the state of the legal profession. This man has had a parade of attorneys appointed to his defense. So many of them have not cared about him. So many of them have not cared about whether he lives or dies, that all he can hope for, his best case scenario, is an attorney who cares. This was just the beginning of my legal education. Time and again, I found myself meeting people in desperate, vulnerable places. And time and again, I saw the great unmet need for legal services. Not to put too fine a point on it, but I learned that there are some terrible lawyers out there, and there are some terrible judges out there, and too many people are in prison not because of the heinous nature of their crime, not because they're a danger to society, but because some lawyer or some judge gave up on them, didn't care enough, and more often than not, they were too poor to hire someone to put up a fight. That's what the system looks like. Suddenly, I found myself caring deeply about every seemingly insignificant rule, down to the italicized periods, anything that contributed to this. And I remember thinking, this was exactly what I came to law school to learn. Part 3, what giving a damn looks like. Once my eyes were open, law school had much to show me, inside and outside of the classroom. At SLS and in the real world, I've met professors and other students who are fighting the good fight with every inch of their soul. They are my role models for the type of attorney and the type of person I want to be. But the most important lesson came earlier this year from one of my clients. I was working on a motion for a habeas case. This case is a grave injustice. My client is serving 30 years to life in prison for allegedly taking $91 from a Pizza Hut. He was unarmed, and no one was injured. As you might know about habeas, it's a procedural minefield. There are a million ways to lose before you can ever get to the merits of the case. We were trying to make our way through one of the minefields, and the law was not good. The more I researched the motion, the more I became convinced we might lose. The week before filing, I went to visit my client. I was nervous to tell him what I thought about our chances. He had always been so optimistic in his letters. He ended every one, "Give him hell, counselor." But there I was sitting across from him, and he asked me the question, "Are we going to win?" I had to be honest. I told him I really wanted to win, but I didn't know if we would. I tried to pick things up. I said, but you know what, if we lose, and I'm not saying we will, but if we lose, we're still in this. We have some other shots down the line, and I think we can win. Don't worry, we'll play the long game if we have to. He sighed and said, man, the long game? Every moment the state delays, I'm in prison. So what? We might win someday, but what good will it do me if they grant habeas and release me after 15 years? That night, I stayed up thinking about our conversation, and I rewrote the conclusion to the brief. This time, I didn't reiterate why we should win the procedural argument. I said what was really going on. I said a man is serving a horribly unjust sentence, a man who never received a fair trial, and he has been wasting away in prison for over a decade while the state has tried over and over again to drop him and his constitutional violations through procedural black holes. We won. About a week later, I opened a letter from my client. I imagined he would be pretty satisfied with the result. Sure enough, the first line read, "Now that's what I'm talking about, counselor." But as I read on, he wasn't saying anything about the decision. He didn't know about the decision. He was responding to the brief. Throughout the letter, he quoted parts of the conclusion like each one was a punch thrown on his behalf. First you said this, and then you went on the attack with that, and that's what I'm talking about, counselor. Reading that letter was hands down the best moment I had in law school. The theme of this speech comes from something Professor Marshall said last year at a talk on the death penalty. He told us to have the courage to give a damn. Before law school, I think I would have asked, why courage? Don't you just give a damn and that's it? But that's because my principles had never really been tested. That's because I never confronted the very real prospect of giving a damn so much that you care about the little things, the font size and the italicized periods, and failing. Looking back, because I thought we would lose the motion, because the law was bad, I had unconsciously lowered my expectations for what the system owed my client. I had lowered my expectations for justice. But my client reminded me of what was at stake. He taught me that regardless of the narrow, technical, even hopeless question before the court, a good attorney is someone who cares enough to believe that the system should be better than this, who cares enough to say what's really going on, who cares enough to make others care too. Class of 2014, what I loved about doing all this alongside you is that so many of you care deeply about whatever it is that you fight for. Especially over the last 2 years in clinic, as we found our footing and our passion, and we gave a damn together, it was inspiring. I am grateful to Stanford for this transformative education. We know justice is not naturally occurring, not in this system, but we also know how to demand it. We have the tools, we speak the language, now is our chance. This is our legal system, this is our client's legal system, this is the system of those who don't have a lawyer. Push back against the tendency to narrow the argument into comfortable, innocuous places. Tell the story, the whole story, the difficult story, the human story, and make the system hear those caught within it. Have the courage to give a damn, and give him hell, a counselor. Thank you.
Great. Well, those two speeches are going to be really easy to follow up. Good morning, everyone. I'm Ferris Mohuden. I'm one of the co-presidents of the 2014 class. To be more specific, I'm the one who wasn't really ever at the law school at the same time as anyone in the class of 2014. Parents and friends, don't think about it too much. The day is long, it's hot, save your strength. It seems only fitting, though, that I present the 2014 Dean's Award for Excellence in Service to Stanford Law School to my co-president, who actually went to law school with y'all, which is great, to Rachel Alicia McDaniel. It would strain credulity to try to list the full array of activities, leadership positions, and general contributions that Rachel has made over the past 3 years to this school. So I won't bother listing any of them. I worry that any omission would simply cheapen the gravity of her achievements. I'm also not around much, so I have no clue myself, and I'm lazy. So, as but one example of what an utter pleasure it has been to work with Rachel over the past year as a co-president, I'll offer one painfully true anecdote. When I first saved Rachel's contact information into my phone, I screwed up. I got the last digit wrong. Yes, 8 years at Stanford, and I can't properly operate my own cell phone. But here's what's amazing. For like 5 months, I would send very specific coordination and planning texts to the human being I erroneously thought was Rachel. She never got any of them. Compounding matters, this random textee would reply with similarly specific answers to my Rachel-intended questions. But somehow, in all of those months, we never ran into coordination issues because she's just that easy to work with. So eventually, I got Rachel's actual number, and things continued to roll quite smoothly. In case you're curious, even after that epiphany, the random non-Rachel person continued to text me. Often at night, they eventually got a bit abstract and moderately threatening, so then I blocked that number. Okay, this story's gotten a little bit away from me, but you guys get the point. Rachel is awesome. Beyond case law, cold calls, callbacks, or clerkships, every one of us has been touched in some way by Rachel's sustained service. So as much as I insisted that it would be weird/fun to have Rachel present the award to herself, I am nonetheless honored to present Rachel McDaniel the 2014 Dean's Award for Excellence in Service to Stanford Law School. I don't want to selfie it. I feel like it's too much.
Thank you, Ferris. That was really sweet. I didn't know you were capable of that. But in seriousness, thank you, Ferris. Thank you to all my classmates, my fellow classmates, and the faculty who thought I somehow was the one person that should receive this award. I'm truly honored and humbled by this. I can't take full credit for this. First and foremost, as a Christian, it's my understanding that all things that I do good come from God. So I just wanted to give him the honor and the glory. And secondly, I wanted to thank the tremendous staff and administration that stand behind us. 3 people stand out in my mind, but that doesn't take away from what everyone else has done. But Jillian Del Pozo at facilities, Shadell, who's our dean, and certainly not the least, Kathy Glaze, who has dealt with us so much this year. The class of 2014 really appreciates everything that you do for us, and I'm really appreciative of all the help that you've given me to help serve my classmates. And finally, I just want to give another thank you to my classmates. I've said this many times throughout law school that I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. I wouldn't want to be with any other group of people. You are amazing, you're inspiring, and I look up to every single one of you. So here's to many more years that I get to hang out and know you guys, and I love you all. Thank you. So now it's my honor and privilege, and I'm a lot less nervous now because I get to shine the light on someone else who's done some wonderful things. So I have the privilege of introducing the recipient of the 2014 Staff Appreciation Award. And this year, we have elected Diane Chin, who is Associate for... She is the Associate Dean for Public Service and Public Interest Law, but I think we all know her as the head and the heart of the Levin Center for Public Interest. The Levin Center helps support students who have interest in cultivating their public interest careers, and I reached out to students who had been personally touched by Diane, and I just wanted to read a list of remarks that I compiled to honor her today. So if I say my or I, that's attributed to the student who said that. So Diane is one of my favorite faces at Stanford Law School. She's a public interest warrior. Diane is so wonderful, and our school is so lucky to have her. Her willingness to share her wisdom from years of practice is a gift to every member at SLS. Diane also goes out of her way to be a mentor to public interest students and to make sure that public interest students meet other lawyers and advocates who will help further their goals. When I talk to SLS alumni working in public interest, I ask them for advice, and the response is almost universally, do whatever Diane Chin says. Diane's advice is targeted and prudent and takes into account her students' professional and personal concerns. She is always warm, and she is always sincere. She may, in fact, be the most loving person at the law school. What I most appreciate about Diane, though, is her refusal to sugarcoat anything. She knows that the PI job search process is tough. She is candid about this and encourages us to plan for these challenges. She treats us like professionals from the start. So it is my honor to give this to none other but Diane Chin.
Thank you for that very kind introduction, Rachel, and I am very pleased to accept this recognition on behalf of the entire staff of the Levin Center, whom I'm certain you intended to really acknowledge with this lovely award. Class of 2014, oh my goodness, you have inspired me since the first day I met you, and thank you. Congratulations. Remember to stay true to your true selves and your best selves, and never, never be afraid to live out loud. I'm proud of you. Congrats.
Hey, so I'm back. If you thought my introduction for Rachel was lacking in specifics, brace yourselves. I'm back to present the Hurlbut Award for Excellence in Teaching to the Nelson Bowman Schweitzer and Marie B. Schweitzer Professor of Law, that name really rolls off the tongue, Professor Norman Spalding. True to my approach to my academic career, at roughly 2 a.m. last night, I racked my brain to recall two very specific memories I had of Professor Spalding. Initially, I worried that may be insufficient to anchor an entire introduction, but then I recalled my training as a management consultant and remembered that just 2 data points are more than a sufficient basis to make generalizations about just about anything. Oh, good. If you guys were quiet, I'd have to say, oh, that would have killed at the GSB, but you saved me. That's fine. That's fine. All right. 1 year. He opened a federal litigation lecture to the entire SLS JD population with the opening lyrics from widely acclaimed Fourth Amendment scholar Jay-Z. I was immediately excited. not because he had gained any street cred by commencing a potentially dry address with lyrics to a relatively esoteric rap song. I was excited because I too knew the lyrics to that song. And I remembered that the following lines were replete with naughty words that even I would deign not utter on this occasion. But then he stopped after the first line and then went on about something related to civil procedure for an hour or so. Truth be told, I sort of tuned out after the rap part. This perhaps explains why my Fed-Lit brief sort of started to go off the rails there. Shireen's here, she knows, unfortunately. The important takeaway is Professor Spalding can always find ways to infuse relevance into even the most seemingly dry of topics. It was class certification, for those of you curious. Secondly, during 2L year, I signed up for legal ethics. I was confident I'd be getting 10 weeks of Law and Order clips, open-ended debates on the nature of duty, and thinly veiled exhortations for us not to end up in jail. But within minutes of Professor Spalding's class, it became abundantly clear that I was in for something very different. Session 1, he was going deep into case law already, cold calling and dashing up and down the aisles to come unsettlingly close to student speakers in the charming way only Professor Spalding can pull off. This class was for real. This guy was determined to apply rigorous instruction to impart what it meant to be a member of this profession. As you may have guessed, I, of course, never came back and dropped the course. In other words, Professor Spalding was able to convince me to flee his class through sheer competence. Think about it later, that's a big compliment. You know, maybe not today, but someday it'll settle in. So that's all my firsthand knowledge. To attempt to do something meaningful, Professor Spalding is a renowned scholar in the area of professional responsibility and the legal profession. And I think as we know by now, it's all too easy to spend law school mired in theory, doctrine, or empirical studies, and thus forget that we're at least ostensibly here to become practitioners of the law, not disembodied commenters on the abstract nature of the law. That's what most of these professors are for. Kidding. I kid because I love. However, Professor Spalding channels his research, his teaching, and his energy into communicating the unique role that will ultimately play in society and the critical responsibilities that that power creates. So years after 18th century property law dissipates into the ether of our memory, we should be so lucky as to follow both the wisdom and the example of Professor Spalding. With that, please join me in congratulating Professor Spalding on his achievements and welcoming him to the podium. Thank you.
Oh, great. Oh, great. Oh, I'm supposed to hold it up?
Go. Whatever's natural.
Thank you, Ferris. Legal ethics got much more substantive after you left, Ferris. And it's not too late. We could do it again. We could do it now. Thank you, Ferris, for the kind introduction. That's what the paper says. I'm going to go with that. My mom asked me if I was nervous this morning, and I said yes, I am. Every time I step into the classroom, and she said, "But this is bigger than a class." And I said, "Yeah, but I've talked a lot to big rooms of people." And then as I was driving to campus to get here and get robed in this incredibly hot, notwithstanding the shade, robe, it occurred to me that those had been alumni talks and everybody had had like an hour of cocktails beforehand. And so now as I stand here, I don't actually know if what I think is my vibe is actually my vibe. That's going to connect at high noon. Mark talked eloquently about the problem of not caring enough. I'm going to talk about caring too much. This is a wonderful moment in your lives
and I'm incredibly honored to share it with you. You're here today, your families are here today, we're here today to celebrate with you. And you should really pause to celebrate, to soak up all the love and admiration your family and friends are so eager to shower upon you, to thank them for helping you along the way. And yet I speak from experience in saying that it's easy for a day like this to slip away. I'm actually just about to say that the day could pass from your memory, but if you have a spill like that, it can stick. It's easy for a day like this to pass away, to slip too quickly, to live on more in the pictures that will be taken and in your active memory. One reason for the fragility of this moment is that, like so many lawyers before you, you're by habit of mind and years of repetition all too well accustomed to burying one achievement in the construction degree of the next to come. Moving past one milestone, in an instant you pass it, in the very breath of relief you expel, converting it into something truly strange. Both a foregone conclusion, a fait accompli, and an achievement whose present value is nevertheless suspended, contingent on reaching the next milestone toward which you're heading. So too for the next achievement, and the next one after that. Nothing you achieve in this habit of mind ever constitutes being yourself, and certainly no achievement's ever enough. Everything done is but a preparatory step for things still left to do, for the self you later hope to be. It'd be one thing if you ever arrived at this later self, content, complete, ready to bask in the glow of your success. Or for some strange reason, I'm thinking of Mark's goats as embodying that later self. But being yourself is the very thing that gets deferred. Degrees mark not what you've learned about the world and your place in it as much as the expectation of future achievement and earnings. A promotion is but a sign and promise of how much higher you might yet rise, and with it comes more pressure to perform. Marriage is not a union in which you can safely lose yourself in the love of another, or become stronger and wiser by being less concerned with your own needs than with those of another. It's a mere achievement on the checklist, a resource for a further professional achievement. According to this pernicious habit of mind, anything less than what Burton Bledstein calls regularly scheduled upward mobility on your part and on the part of those around you is failure. And not just failure in the sense of a slip or a bit of misfortune, but failure in a deeply personal and blameworthy sense. Failure to be appropriately ambitious, disciplined, or industrious. Failure to do justice to your talents. If your life after today does not have this regularly scheduled upward mobility, shortness of breath at the very edge of breathlessness, objective and well-recognized markers of continued accomplishment as a lawyer or in some other professional endeavor for which the skills you've built here are relevant, then what does this milestone, the one we're supposed to be celebrating with you today, mean? What will it mean to you? When are you going to decide? Even if your life after today becomes a series of booming accomplishments, one after the other, are we celebrating anything more than a shared hope for this bright future today? Are we celebrating the habit of mind that yokes the present and all the ingenuity and hard work that led to it, to this heavily freighted future? Does this habit of mind produce the most competent professionals, the best leaders, the highest achievement? In raising these questions with you and asking you to consider them with me, my point is not that you should avoid achievement and with it the risk of failure, that it's better and that you'll be happier, all things considered, if you make of your life a kind of sitcom about nothing. You may recall the famous Seinfeld episode in which George Costanza is trying to help Jerry figure out what kind of show to pitch to executives at NBC. They're seated at the cafe across from each other. George says to Jerry, they've been talking for a bit, "This should be the show." Jerry replies, "What?" George, "This, just talking." Jerry, "Yeah, right." George, "No, I'm really serious. I think this is a good idea." Jerry, "Just talking? Well, what's the show about?" George, "It's about nothing." Jerry, "No story?" George, "Nah, forget the story." Jerry, "You gotta have a story." George, "Who says you gotta have a story?" Jerry, "So everybody I know is a character on the show and it's about nothing." George, "Absolutely nothing." "So you're saying I go into NBC and I tell them I got this idea for a show and it's about nothing?" "Yeah, I think we really got something here. Everybody's doing something. We'll do nothing." Now, don't get me wrong. If someone's willing to pay you millions of dollars to make people happy by inventing absolutely nothing, doing absolutely nothing, take the offer. Talk about it over coffee with friends. Think about whether people will be laughing at you or laughing with you. But either way, you should probably take the offer. And as Nicholas knows, in this valley, you might even be able to get venture capital for the project. Even if no one is willing to pay you anything to do nothing, it still may be worthwhile to do nothing at least some of the time. If you think this is strange advice, take it from Wallace Stevens rather than me. This is a snowman. One must have a mind of winter and have been cold a long time to behold the junipers shagged with ice, the spruces rough in the distant glitter of the January sun, and not to think of any misery in the sound of the wind, in the sound of a few leaves, which is the sound of the land, full of the same wind, is blowing in the same bare place. For the listener who listens in the snow, and nothing himself, behold nothing that is not there, and the nothing that is. I say this lovingly because I do admire how connected you are to each other. That's the cocktail I'm missing from the later reception. But your generation is especially prone not to pause, not to stop, not to allow nothing to happen. Have a free minute, better check email and Facebook. Nothing there, send a text. Answer one. Selfie. Those of you who've had me in the classroom know I don't allow laptops or any other electronic devices. I'm stricter than the Federal Aviation Administration in this respect. What you may not know is that for the first week of class or so, I could see you twitching with the pangs of portable electronic device separation anxiety. You don't quite know what to do with your hands. You fondle the pockets and the backpacks where your digital mini-me's are silently waiting, gathering an avalanche of data for you. And it must now be said, gathering an avalanche of data about you as well. Stevens is right. There's insight to be found in the emptiness of open observation, just thinking, freed from machines and direct labor, the deeper faculties of the mind, the original and still most powerful electronic device you own, light up. But even if there are existential rewards in it, my main point is not that you should seek to do nothing. My point is rather that today is a very good day to pause and think seriously about your disposition toward doing, particularly your disposition toward achievement. You're to be lawyers. Much of what you will do, much of what you accomplish, certainly the most important things you will accomplish as lawyers, will not be for yourselves in the first instance, but rather for the clients you serve. We represent the interests of others, so we need to be particularly conscious of our disposition toward achievement. But in the pernicious habit of mind I've been describing, this disposition can get twisted up, turned on its head. Accomplishments like finishing law school can multiply anxieties about reaching future goals rather than making you feel more self-assured. That's strange. Professional accomplishments can amplify rather than diminish your aversion to risks, and thus make you wary of opportunities that lie off the path leading to the next most obvious and readily available marker of success. The clients you have can seem less important than the ones you hope to get, even as you become afraid to tell the clients you have anything they don't want to hear. And even modest success can make failure and setbacks seem akin to professional death, when mistakes are the acts from which you stand to learn the most about your craft and yourself. Very quickly, in a word, accomplishment takes you out of the present. This disembodiment is most pernicious because the present's all we actually have. Wherever you think you're going, wherever you want to be, right now you're nowhere but here, surrounded by people who love you and have nurtured you, people who, like me, are more proud of you than words can explain. Nothing is missing. Nothing is not here. And yet, august as this day is, I do understand how hard it is to believe that, how hard it is to be here and nowhere else. The reasons are legion. To begin with, some of your loved ones are already gone and will have no living role in your future. My father died at the age of 51, 6 months before I finished law school. And while he was not the only person I wanted to celebrate graduation with, he had handed me my admissions letter 3 years before. I can still see the smile on his face when he did. And so as I sat then where you are now, I longed for him to see me cross this stage. I spent the whole day talking to his ghost. What would I achieve by the age of 51? Would I make it to 51? I was anywhere but here. Most of you were born as the Berlin Wall fell and the Cold War ended, but as you've witnessed while coming of age, other threats loom. Threats that force your minds forward to the next economic, environmental, geopolitical crisis. And even if you didn't have existential anxiety about the future built in when you came to law school, 6-figure student loans, due and payable very soon, could certainly incline you in that direction. You could be working for the financial freedom of a future self for a very long time. What then should we be celebrating today, if not the unique capacities for deferred gratification you've cultivated, and the deferred gratification this degree promises? It's an important question. On the one hand, much in the way of dissatisfaction, malaise, and even misconduct in the legal profession can be traced to the pernicious habit of mind I've been describing, this strange anxiety-laced disposition toward achievement in which clients become means to our ends, rather than our talents and judgments serving to help them define and reach theirs. The problem's certainly not unique to lawyers. There's a lot of jokes. Insert your favorite one there. But it's a regrettably general pathology of the modern professions. Medicine, accounting, brokerage, architecture, politics, journalism, all have their versions. You're only as good as your next surgery, each patient a proving ground rather than a person in pain. Today is not the day to set out the case, but I suspect it's an even broader cultural problem. If some is good, more is surely better. Buy two, get one free. You can no longer supersize your order at McDonald's, but last fall you could get a Blitz box. 2,940 calories for $14.99. I would not have thought that a good cup of coffee needed an incentive system beyond the caffeine, but even Starbucks now has a frequent buyer rewards program. Collect 30 Starbucks stars within 12 months and you're at gold level. Gold level is, however, a fleeting contingent accomplishment. Both desire and status anxiety are triggered the instant status is conferred. This is the promotional. Once you reach gold level, keep those benefits another 12 months by earning another 30 Starbucks stars. And the benefits of being gold level, of course, established by invidious comparison to lesser status. With gold level, you get all the welcome level benefits, the green level benefits, free coffee on your birthday and free refills, respectively, plus a personalized gold card. So your barista will know you're somebody special when you place an order. You get the point. You are what you want. You can never have enough, and what you have isn't what you want as soon as you get it. So what are the alternatives to this pathology? We've taught you many things over the last 3 years, but I worry we have not covered this. And I had only a week with Ferris, so I didn't get very far at all. Yeah. You could displace or surrender your ambition and adopt the attitude toward work displayed by the employees of Dunder Mifflin on the TV show The Office. You go because you need the paycheck. You really need the pay. You go because you need the paycheck. But work is essentially a site of existential despair. Pick your favorite character, and with him or her, your favorite flavor of despair. It's Pam for me. But the key ingredient is the same. As Robert Frost once put it, the brain is a wonderful organ. It starts working the moment you get up in the morning and does not stop until you get into the office. Now, this doesn't quite capture this Michael Scott character, the boss, played by Steve Carell. On the one hand, it looks like he's having fun at work. He certainly wants to be there, and he's not without ambition for himself or his staff. On the other hand, it's not clear that he has a brain that starts working during any part of the day. Certainly not when he needs it. Or a soul, for that matter. In almost every scene involving Michael on the show, we see that obliviousness and no small amount of cruelty toward others, particularly subordinates, are the endpoints of disembodied ambition. Empty ambition as an end in itself. A truly bitter flavor. If you have the fortitude, you could adopt Muhammad Ali's view of his work as your own. Ali famously said, "It's just a job. Grass grows, birds fly, waves pound the sand. I beat people up." Add to this his attitude about competition. If you even dream of beating me, you better wake up and apologize. And you've got a potent recipe for professional success without much in the way of anxiety, ambivalence, or self-doubt. Ali's accomplishments are impressive enough to suggest that he genuinely believed what he said. One certainly has the sense that he owned his accomplishments rather than his accomplishments owning him. And look, I'm not going to pick a fight with him about it. But I suspect that even for him, these statements were more an exercise in public relations than a complete expression of his inner relationship to boxing and the mortal fear of failure, the fear of mortality itself that goes with stepping into the ring. In any case, Ali's first statement translates awkwardly to the practice of law. It fits a theory of litigation as battle, but that's a debased theory. And I can't figure out how to tweak it for those of you heading into transactional work. Grass grows, birds fly, waves pound the sand. I insert contingent remainders into wills. I write negotiable instruments. Grass grows, birds fly, waves pound the sand. I convert the synergy of business transactions into legally binding and enforceable agreements complicit with Sarbanes-Oxley. The happiest ambitious person I've ever met was a prisoner, incarcerated for over 20 years for killing a drug dealer who threatened his brother. I represented him pro bono. I used to visit him at Folsom Prison outside Sacramento. Folsom is not a high-tech prison with slick concrete walls. It's the second oldest prison in California, opened in 1880. The walls are made of massive, solid granite blocks, quarried on site. As you pass through the thick iron gates, the weight of cold stone envelops you. You feel like a prisoner, whether you are or not. Even the guards look like they aren't quite sure they can get out. My client, who I'll call Les, had such an immaculate record of programming and rehabilitation that prison officials put him to work as a pre-release counselor. That meant he spent much of his time advising inmates who would soon be released on how to get by on the outside without reoffending. He was by all accounts exceedingly good at that job, using theories of restorative justice, a profound capacity for empathy, lessons drawn from his own life as well, to ensure that those he worked with would not come back to prison. His record was so spotless and inspiring that you'd have thought he'd make an easy case for parole himself. But every year he came up for parole, he was complimented on his accomplishments and then summarily denied release. For several years before I met Les, he'd been teaching himself the law of habeas corpus and pursuing a sophisticated litigation strategy in both state and federal court. Each of those lawsuits failed. Most of the work I did for him also failed, spectacularly. I would spend hundreds of hours writing briefs, running dozens of pages, and gathering facts for 6 inches of supporting exhibits, only to see the courts return one-sentence orders, curtly denying relief. When I met with him to convey disappointing news about the denial of each new petition, I expected Les to be angry, frustrated, impatient, or perhaps torn between these emotions and a desire to show me that he remained duly remorseful and held no sense of entitlement about getting out. I expected at least to see disappointment because he was striving so hard, and after decades of striving in prison, he'd accomplished remarkable things. But the most immediate and obvious thing toward which it seemed to me that he was striving, release on parole, was constantly being dangled in front of him and then yanked away. Indeed, as the courts would finally recognize, years after I began representing him, the state had been arbitrarily denying him parole in violation of California law and his due process rights. I was certainly angry, frustrated, impatient, and disappointed. And to be perfectly honest with you, with each failure, I felt no small embarrassment at the thought of having to explain to Les why I, a Stanford lawyer, was faring no better in the courts than he had on his own. Here was a man who, having tragically failed in life, squandering his talents early, committing the highest of crimes, breaking up his own family and the family of the victims as well, turned himself around in prison. And yet the state would not follow the law and let him go. As if to add insult to injury, he spent his days preparing arguably less deserving prisoners for their release. I would have gone mad if I were in his shoes. I know this. That makes his response to the vexing situation he was in all the more astonishing to me. With no reasonable expectation of future vindication, Les not only persevered, he continued to strive and to achieve, and not just to be released or to perfect his paper record of rehabilitation. He strived relentlessly to perfect his mind, his heart, and his capacity to inspire other prisoners to move beyond the minima of rehabilitation, beyond the quid pro quo of achievement, to habits of mind that would help them heal and improve the communities to which they would eventually return. Deprived of any certainty or rational predictability about his ultimate liberation, any meaningful relationship to a future self or future freedom, he had invented a kind of spiritual choreography, an audacious vertical movement of the soul, outside the ordinary laws of time, all while sitting in a prison cell, the most constraining space we put people, other than a straitjacket or a coffin, acutely aware of his failures. From his perspective, as I've come to understand it, the state could neither give nor take anything from him, and no part of him was waiting to be something in the future, least of all, a parolee. Les was never anywhere other than the present, still and yet pulsing with kinetic energy, a light, ambitious, funny, loving, humble, joyful in precisely the way that the blues is joyful. Inside a prison or out, I've never met a Les in prison soul in my life. There's no snow in Folsom, California, but Les had a mind of winter, who listens in the snow, and nothing himself, beholds nothing that is not there, and the nothing that is. Les passed away a couple years ago, not long after he was released. I miss him. I miss working for him. I also regret deeply that I thought I was too busy to visit him before he passed away. Whenever I catch myself worrying about regularly scheduled upward mobility, when I find myself on the edge of breathlessness from effort and anticipation, worrying about what I have or what I want, worrying about the quid pro quo of achievement, the next objective, the next well-recognized marker of accomplishment as a lawyer and a teacher and a writer and a husband and a father, or when I make a mistake, as I often do, I don't stop striving. But I do try to pause and think about less, to think about nothing that is not there before me in that moment of effort or failure, and the nothing that is. So if you should catch yourself in a pernicious habit of mind, perhaps it'll help to think of less too. Or better yet, why not make the object of your celebration today, here, now, a graduation from that pernicious habit of mind? You have earned it. I'm going to miss having you in my classroom, your pulsing kinetic energy. And I'm honored and proud and joyful to be celebrating this day with you. You're dear to me. This day is dear to me, and I'll hold fast to the memory of it. Thank you.
Will the candidates for the degree of Doctor of the Science of Law please come forward? Eugenio Jose Carrenas Martinez. Abhinav Chandrachud. Jerry Liu. Ayelet Sella. Will the candidate for the degree of Master of Legal Studies please come forward? I want a big cheer for her because she doesn't have any real classmates here, right? Natalia Krakovich. Will the candidates for the degree of Master of the Science of Law please come forward? You forgot your, come on. Do you have your card? Your card, Mathis? I'll read it. Mathis Pierre Bredimus. No? No? See, this is what happens when they don't have their card. Oh, well, wrong side. It's actually what happens when I can't read. Pablo Carvacho. Chelsea Zhaoxi Chen. Daron Dorfman. Claudio Fuentes. Clea Hans. Serhii Hoviadanov. Anita Sue Joie. Rata Madzini. Louise Riley. Camila Soto Murai. Arm Tungnurum. Okay, will the candidates for the degree of Master of Laws, Corporate Governance and Practice please come forward, and I'll read the right name at the right time. Now he's here. Mathis Pierre Bredimus. Ana Luisa da Silva Ramos. Guilherme Beixara. Chao Gu. Priscilla Gurgel Menezes. Eva Haldorsdotter. Valentin Jensch. Konstantin Kasyan. Jan Klaus Christian Koskenjami. Jean-Christophe Larobe. Inga Christina Maria Nevin. Henri Okamoto. Benjamin Raymond Pruitt. Julia Ribeiro Visconti. Joaquin Miguel Rodriguez Diaz. Fabiana Solano. Miho Tanaka. Ryohei Tanaka. He Wang. Zhuo Zhang. Will the candidates for the degree of Master of Laws in Environmental Law and Policy please come forward? Xiaoji Jin. Ranak Singh Kohli. Alessandra Lehman. Paolo Tanquian Vionco. Julia Turinho. Yonghee Yoon. Will the candidates for the degree of Master of Laws, Law Science, and Technology please step forward? Adrian Mathieu Alberini. Diego Costa Spinola. Larissa Maria Galamberte Afonso. Great speech. Nicholas Maria Livius Guggenberger. Gaurav Gupta. Congratulations. Per Gustafsson. Takuto Hirabayashi. Shu Hu. Catherine Jonkerur. Hyung Kun Lee. And Teresa Imogene Macias. Gideon Arden Todotua Manalong. Ademir Antonio Pereira, Jr. Maya Alexandra Shino. Longbo Wang. Anna Zeiter. Thank you. Congratulations. Jose Nicolas Urinola Martinez. I think we may have some more. Will the candidates for the degree of Doctor of Jurisprudence please start coming forward? Congratulations, Efwa Esiyama Ajay. Congratulations. Jose Antonio Aleman, Jr. Arash Aramesh. Congratulations. Mavis Asayadu Frimpong. Congratulations. Ian Garin Okwan. Michael Hendry Bayer. Max Ryan Banco. Joy Basu. Jeremy Bearer Friend. Laura Catherine Bixby. Christina Monique Black. Christopher Clausen Boots. Alexander Bias Bowerman. Caitlin O'Neill Powell Bradley. Congratulations. Okay. Okay. Atenas Waisami Borola Estrada. John S. Butler. Megan Dorothea Byrne. Michelle? It is Michelle, right? Max Michelle Carter Oberstone. Congratulations. Very handsome. Joseph Raymond Casey. Congratulations. Benjamin Paul Chagnon. Hei Chung Chang. Michael Oxford Chen. Congratulations. William Gray Cochran. Congratulations. William James Cooper. Breon Chanel Cornish. Mia Tamar Krager. Samuel Owen Cross. Michelle Marie Cumston. Congratulations. Marta Darby. Congratulations. Grace Deborah Darcy. Andrew Trayton Davis. Jessica Rose Davis. Congratulations. It's Cesar, right? Caesar? Caesar Anthony de la Vega. Peter James DeMarco. Anna Nicole DeMoss. Congratulations. Manal R.F. Dia. Congratulations. John Joseph Donahoe, Jr. Rachel Nora Easter. Samuel David Eisenberg. Hunter Patrick Ellis. Solomon Supus Eppel. Perfect. David Fechter. Mark Stewart Feldman. Matthew Harrison Fine. Meredith Ann Firetog. Congratulations. Kendall Ryan Fisher. Congratulations. Matthew David Forbes. Congratulations. Julia Catherine Forgy. Congratulations. Sabrina Michelle Forte. Jessica Fox. Maura Beth Friedman. David Ransom Friedman. Thomas King Sun Fu. Jeremy R. Gibb. Joshua Popik Glukoft. Congratulations. Ariel Kristen Green. Congratulations. Jared Scott Greenberg. Congratulations. Neha Gupta. Patrick Ryan Gutierrez. John Stanton Haddock. Sherry Michelle Hansen. Sean Fuad Harb. Paul Harold. Ryan Matthew Harper. Taylor Barber Hauk. Kelsey John Helland. Congratulations. Miriam Ida Hines. Congratulations. Lily Catherine Hines. Congratulations. Peter Cornelius Holm. Maureen Beckwith Howard. Congratulations. Catherine Claire Hubbard. Congratulations. Jacqueline Mia Iwata. Samuel Isser Jacobson. Congratulations. Kevin Jason. Congratulations. Chantal Victoria Johnson. Congratulations. Christopher Roy Jones. Lundeberg, I can do it. I got it. Take care. Congratulations. Leah Lundeberg Judge. Perfect. Kyle Walker Cahan. Hi, congratulations. Nisha Kashyap. Congratulations. Is it Corinne or Corinne? Corinne Elizabeth Keel. Congratulations. Hajin Kim. You do one more hug? Please, of course.
Thank you for everything.
Zachary Brannon Kruth.
Congratulations.
Daniel Jonathan Quo.
Congratulations.
Marisa Ukemi Landin. Donald K. Lang. David Jonathan Lazarus.
Congratulations. Stenstedt.
Alexandra Marie Stenstedt Dunworth Leaper.
Congratulations. Is it Levine?
Ruth Catherine Leah Levine.
Congratulations.
Angie Lee.
Congratulations.
Monica Rochelle Linke.
Congratulations.
Catherine Lynn.
Congratulations.
Seth Willis Lloyd.
Congratulations.
Monique Sarah Virginia Loy.
Congratulations.
Yiji Alu.
Congratulations.
Joshua William Malone.
Congratulations.
David Anthony Martinez.
Congratulations.
Kat Mateo. Janice Xiaoting Mao.
Congratulations.
Rebecca Ann Moorer.
Congratulations.
Is it Alicia or Alicia? Rachel Alicia McDaniel. James Franklin McKee. Congratulations. You're walking. Mark Bruns Middaugh.
Congratulations.
Alexandra Morgan Miller. Lila Rebecca Miller.
Congratulations.
Joel Miner.
Congratulations.
Ferris Ali Mohudin.
Congratulations.
Nicholas Ray Moreno.
Congratulations.
Walter Carell Murray. Congratulations, Isaac. Isaac Killian Neal.
Congratulations.
Twop Min Win.
Okay.
Andrew Carroll Knoll.
Congratulations.
Sydney Troy Nunez.
Congratulations.
Grady Benson Nye.
Congratulations.
Matthew James Owens.
Congratulations.
Hamida Owusu.
Congratulations.
Salvador Perez.
Congratulations.
Sarah Elizabeth Perez.
Congratulations.
Evan Jason Peters.
Congratulations.
Rebecca Lynn Phelps.
Congratulations.
Alexander Clayton Fearson.
Congratulations.
Victoria Elizabeth Phillips.
Congratulations.
Matthew Jacob Platkin.
Congratulations.
Leah Max Pransky.
Congratulations. I'm so proud of you.
Kingdar Prussian.
Congratulations.
Andrew Robert Quirk.
Congratulations.
Courtney Ellen Quiros.
Congratulations.
Michael Anthony Ramos Lynch.
Congratulations.
Casey Lawrence Raymond.
Congratulations.
Tarana Nicole Riddick.
Congratulations.
Kyle Andrew Rifkind.
Congratulations. Is it Marcus? Marcus.
Jackie Marquise Robinson.
Congratulations.
Thomas Rubinsky.
Congratulations.
Michael Jeff Ruiz.
Congratulations.
Anna Elizabeth Sahlstrom.
Congratulations.
Neil D. Sangal.
Congratulations.
Richard Christopher Sapien.
Congratulations.
Samuel Edmund Saunders IV.
Congratulations.
Neil Kumar Sawhney.
Congratulations.
Ryan T. Sachs.
Congratulations.
Kasani Marie Scales.
Congratulations.
Catherine Sumiko Scherschel.
Congratulations.
Gabriel Renee Schlabach.
Congratulations.
Douglas Adams Sharp.
Congratulations.
Adam Stanley Seif.
Congratulations. Elwes?
Andrew Elwes Siegel.
Congratulations.
Clayne L. Snow.
Congratulations.
Jeffrey Scott Summers.
Congratulations. Card.
Andrew Stevenson.
Congratulations. Candy?
Raymond Tamby.
Congratulations.
Dahlia Beth Taylor.
Congratulations.
Duncan Koo Taylor.
Congratulations. Fun things.
Ryland Taylor.
Congratulations.
Anuja Diwakar Thate.
Congratulations.
Alexander George Tishenko. Nicholas Ryan Trutanek.
Congratulations.
Nicholas Tang Sway.
Congratulations.
Lauren Jeffers Tsuji. Alexandra Eleanor Tucker.
Congratulations.
Laura Tume.
Congratulations.
Lisa M. Valenti Jordan.
Congratulations.
Mary Samira Van Houten.
Congratulations. And thank you.
Patrick Henry Vergara.
Congratulations.
Jessica Lee Verin Lingard.
I love it.
Check out the hat on the dog. Camden Vilken.
Congratulations.
Angela Mongshui Wong. Florence T. Wang.
Congratulations.
Lindsay Shannon Warp.
Hi, congratulations. And is it Reese or not? Weiss.
Elisa Gabriela Weiss. Eric Carter Whites.
Congratulations.
Alexandra Yoshko Welch.
Congratulations.
Catherine Hardenberg Weiss.
Congratulations.
Jennifer Louise Williams.
Congratulations.
Spencer Williams.
Congratulations.
Christina Yang.
Congratulations. I'm so proud of you.
Juliana Mariko Yi.
Congratulations.
Rachel Yu.
Congratulations.
Catherine Zhao.
Congratulations.
Tree Chim. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Stanford Law School class of 2014. As the final official act of graduation, I am to charge you as a class. I am tempted to say, as the commander in the movie does,
charge! But that would be wrong. In the movies, the commander's in front, but we're not in front. I actually don't think we have ever been out in front of you because it's you who's made us who we are and you who've made us inspired to do what we do. But if we were ever leading you, that job is over. You're in front. We're the rear guard. We're rooting for you to achieve all that you hope for. And as you start that run, let us send you off with one thing. I'd like to say something worth saying and memorable. That's a tall order. A lot of important and memorable things have been said at graduations, and many trivial and forgettable things have been said at graduations too. But I've been looking high and low for something worthy of this charge, and I think I've found it. The virtues of selfishness. I cast many things aside before I settled on this. There are all sorts of things that we as a faculty want to say to you as you leave us. We want you to have grand ambitions for yourself. We want you to be impatient to achieve them. And we want you to make a difference wherever you land. Given your talent, your spirit, your grit, your creativity, you should, you must, and in fact, you are obligated to have big dreams. And we want you to have satisfying lives. But we know enough about you to know that you do not need to hear those messages because you already know them and you're already trying to live them. There is one message I think you might need to hear. Take care of yourselves. I jokingly called that the virtue of selfishness, and of course that's not what I mean. Selfishness is not a virtue. But here's what I mean. If you want to do work that matters, if you want to build a satisfying life, you have to bring your best game. And the simple truth is that you cannot do that unless you take care of yourself. I think the point's fairly obvious, but it's easy for all of us to forget it. Think about the people whose job it is to bring their best game literally, elite athletes. There is no aspect of their training that is not carefully calibrated to maximize their physical and mental performance. They do totally insane things. Michael Phelps, he has breakfast and then exactly 120 minutes later he jumps in the pool and swims for 4 hours. He breaks for lunch and then runs for 2 hours. Then he goes to the gym and does weight work and treadmill time. He eats in a day what most people eat in 3 days. His typical breakfast involves an 8-egg omelet. His training and diet have fundamentally altered his metabolism. And his mental training is to have practiced what he has to do in the pool so often that his body is on automatic pilot when he races. When his goggles filled with water in Beijing and he could not see, his muscle memory carried him to the gold. Lawyers do the same. In the week before the Supreme Court argument in the healthcare case, Paul Clement, one of the advocates, subjected himself to 5 consecutive days of moots of his argument. Another regular Supreme Court advocate locks herself in a hotel room for the entire weekend before the oral argument to live and breathe every detail of the case. This isn't 4 hours of swimming and 2 hours of running, but she can excel at oral argument even when she experiences the equivalent of water in her goggles, being blindsided by unexpected and wacky questions from the justices. So if it's obvious that high-stakes performance require intense training to assure the performer is at her best, it should be just as obvious that the goal of living a meaningful life requires that too. You can't live the life you want without constantly being in training for it. And that means taking care of yourself. So what do you have to do to bring your best game? I think it does mean you have to do all the things your parents told you. You have to take care of yourself physically. You have to exercise, eat your vegetables, brush your teeth, get enough sleep, stay away from salt and sugar, keep your doctor's appointments. You need to do all of those things. But tending to yourself is actually a lot more challenging than that. Your ability to care for yourself starts with something that sounds incredibly simple. You have to understand yourself. You probably know that's a lot harder than it sounds. Self-awareness is actually not something we're born with. Psychologists have conducted studies to identify the moment in time when infants and toddlers realize that they are separate from what they see in the world. In these studies, researchers put a red dot on the nose of infants and toddlers and place them in front of a mirror. Before self-awareness emerges, they reach out to touch the interesting child in the mirror with the red dot. Once it emerges, they touch their own nose to see what's going on with that red dot. Realizing that you are the baby in the mirror with the red nose is just the beginning. Fully understanding yourself and coming to terms with what you have come to understand is a lifelong project, and most of us have a long way to go. How many people do you know who have obvious personality traits of which they are painfully unaware? I've got 2 teenagers, so I live with this every single day. Every time I suggest to my teenagers that perhaps they are contrarian, the conversation ends with one of them informing me very loudly, "I do not disagree with everything you say." They don't seem to see the humor in this. Clearly, though, one point of knowing yourself is understanding your limits. There's a saying that captures the point. If you meet 3 jerks in one day, you're the jerk. But understanding yourself isn't just about appreciating your weaknesses. If you think of this as training to live the life you want to live, it's as much about understanding your strengths. The connection between understanding yourself, taking care of yourself, and bringing your best game in life, I think, is pretty straightforward. If you don't know yourself, if you don't understand the limits you have to work on or work around, and you don't fully appreciate your talents, you can't bring that best game. And most of all, you don't understand what in work and life gives you joy and pleasure. So why don't we take care of ourselves? We all know this at some level, but we don't always act on it. We've all met the person, many of them lawyers, who have not been in training for their lives, who are not tending to themselves. Overworked, underslept, oblivious to their limits, with a very predictable consequence that they're not putting out their best. So why don't we naturally tend to ourselves? I'm not exactly sure, but I'll give a couple of points of speculation. I don't think that it's just that it's hard to do, which it is, because we do a lot of things that are hard to do. There must be other reasons. One is surely the fruitless pursuit of perfectionism. Some of us suffer from this. You know, that voice in your head telling you it's not quite perfect, whatever it is, and therefore isn't finished. Unfortunately, this is something I think that people who excel in law are especially prone to. Psychologists study something that they call attributional style. This is the way we explain the causes of different events in our lives. There are optimists and pessimists. In explaining a failure, for instance, someone with an optimistic attributional style will explain the failure as caused by external factors that are unstable and specific. The bad score on the test was caused by the temperature in the room and my headache. Someone with a pessimistic style, on the other hand, would explain the failure as caused by something internal, stable, and global. Thus, the bad score was caused by lack of smarts or poor capacity to take tests. Psychologists have studied the relationship between these attributional styles and life success, and what they've found probably won't surprise you. It's better to be an optimist. In many realms, optimistic attributional style is associated with positive outcomes. You sell more insurance, you have better performance in a game, you get better score on a math test, you have better overall health. And although the research is limited, psychologists who've studied the relationship between attributional style and academic achievement have found that in most realms, optimists have higher academic achievement. But guess what? There seems to be an exception: law. In at least one quite large study of law students, those with optimistic attributional style had lower academic achievement than those with pessimistic attributional style. So one reason many of us may not tend to ourselves is that we're perfectionists. We're our own worst critics. We're constantly falling short. Another reason we don't tend to ourselves might be called the superhero myth. This is the view that you can and should do everything, that doing more is always better, and there are no limits to your capacity. This isn't a good training technique. Michael Phelps would reject it out of hand. It's counterproductive. How many times have you had the greatest insight when you gave up and went home, or when you stepped away from what you were doing? Except in quarterly earnings and in ice cream, more is not necessarily better. So how can you make sure, as you go away from us, that you tend to yourself in order to live the life that you want, to make the contribution to the world that you want to make? There are lots of reasons to do this. I think a compelling one is the Michael Phelps argument. It's patently ridiculous to think that he could succeed without careful training. It's patently ridiculous to think a Supreme Court advocate could deliver a successful argument without the same careful training. And it is patently ridiculous to think that you can live the life you want without training for it. And that requires you to understand and to nurture yourself. Let me leave you with some inspiration on this score. You've done amazing things, and so have many of our graduates before you. One of our graduates, Peter Buckart, is the Director of Emergencies at Human Rights Watch. He's credited with shifting the work of Human Rights Watch and other human rights organizations from after-the-fact investigations of atrocities to on-the-scene, real-time, but accurate reports of what's happening in the midst of atrocities, with predictable consequences for policy. Peggy Russell and Stephen Dinkelspiel, when they were students here, started the East Community Law Project with a group of others, and you know what that has contributed. Similarly, last year's graduate Angela McRae founded Project Remade. One of our graduates from 2003 who suffered all of his life from dyslexia developed the Intel Reader, which scans texts and reads them, a lifesaver for those who suffer from dyslexia and other learning disabilities. If these examples don't provide you with inspiration, think about your own hero, the person who has inspired you, the person who is a model for you. On this Father's Day weekend, I can say that for me, one of my models is my father, a man who, after only what can really be described as a crummy, grapes of wrath type childhood, somehow found a way to treat everything in his adult life as the chocolate on top of the ice cream. He found other people's foibles irritating. No, he did not find them irritating. He found them understandable and amusing. He was decent and kind and funny, and he loved his life. So whoever you count as a hero or a model, do you think any of them could have made the difference in the world, in the community, in their family, in their personal relationships that they made without tending to themselves, without doing the equivalent of training for life? I don't think so. They brought their best game, and that helped them do what they did. So please, if you're not tending to yourself, remember that. Charge!